Hi and welcome. Now it's time for a new video. Long time since I did the last one. And this one is the first one in English, which all the videos in the future are gonna be. This video is about front tires. I'm gonna make a front tire test with 10 front tires. So today we're gonna do a front tire test. We have 10 different front tires we're gonna compare and test. Some brands I've tested before and used quite much, so I have my idea, but it's really nice to take like same track and do the testing and really do a comparison between the front tires. And the test we're gonna do is for like the feeling. I'm gonna go on a little bit faster track. I'm gonna go on a rockier track where it's a lot of stones and a little bit harder. And I'm gonna like compare the feeling of them. The duration is a little bit harder because I have to spend quite many hours on each front tire to get the real result, but maybe I'll do a follow-up video on that. And also the price for it. There is some difference in prices, but mostly like on the feeling. On all the front tires, I'm gonna use mousse. I'm gonna use the correct mousse, and I'm gonna use air mousse, which I prefer to ride with. It's a Swedish mousse that I often use in my front tires. So I'm also gonna put like information on what size of mousse and also what size of tires, because there is some size difference. What I can say already now is that I prefer a bigger front tire. So you have more like mousse inside that takes up all these small bumps before the suspension starts to work. So that's a really important thing about the feeling. But I will compare that too and see how actually big is the difference. So the tires I'm gonna test, I have my little sheet note here. We have from Michelin, we have the Enduro Medium, which is a really popular Enduro tire. I used a lot. Michelin Starcross Medium, the new Michelin Tracker. We have from Bridgestone the E50. From Metzler, we have the 6 Days Extreme. We have the Geomax MX 33 from Dunlop. We have the Mitas C19 Yellow. We have the Shinko 216 MX Fin. And we have the Shinko 540. And we also have Razorback MS 21 from 24MX, their new Razorback tire. So that's 10 tires that I'm gonna test. We're gonna go to a local track here in Sweden where I have these two different terrains that I'm gonna do the comparison. So yeah, let's pack everything. The tire changing machine, all the tires, the right mousse and my bike. So see you at the track. Okay, so we start with the Michelin Enduro Medium that I actually had on my bike. Coming to this test, that's the tire I ride the most. But many of the tires we're gonna try today, I haven't tried it, so it's gonna be really fun to see. So let's get started. Okay, so now we're gonna test the second tire, which is the Razorback tire from 24MX. And the difference is this tire is a smaller one, it's 80/100 dimension, 21 inches. So I need to put a smaller mousse in it. And as I mentioned in the intro, it's like the smaller mousse you have, the smaller like damping you have in the tire. So I prefer to go with a big tire, but now I'm gonna see the change. Also, this mousse from Air Mousse is a lightweight mousse, so it's even less material in it, but it's more lightweight, so the spinning, the heaviness of spinning is not that heavy compared to like the other mousse I have. So we see if there is a difference. So I use a tire changer called Rabaconda to make this, and I think many people are afraid for like mounting mousse because they think it's so hard, but it's actually, I find it even easier than mounting with a tube, because with a tube it's always the risk of breaking the tube. You get a flat tire, but with this one you can go quite hard. Preferred thing of course is to do it in the garage and have everything clean and lubed up, but yeah, The testing conditions today are really good because it's very slippery. So that's also something we have the chance to test. Yeah, so now we're gonna try the Shinko tire, the F546. I never tried Shinko before. The other tires, I think I've tried most of them. But on this tire, it looks like a high profile. So, like I said, we want quite much tire to make the first damping and the mousse. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what this tire has to offer. And as well, the difference you can see in the tires is how the knobs, like this are on the side and these are the front. I found it like when they are turned a little bit like this one, they are a little bit slippier when hitting a rock or a tree or something in the ground, compared to when all the knobs are like straight forward. This can be really good when it's a grass, like a special test on grass where it's really like hard packed or something like that. Then it bites or it gets a little bit more traction on the track. But I would say I prefer. But the Metzler I just tried also had this turn and was quite good. So, but that's like how I think when it comes to tires. So it's going to be really interesting to test this Shinko tire. I have two Shinko tires. There is also a third one that they didn't have home. When I did this test, that they said were really good. So yeah, I mean, you can't test them all, but it's gonna be really nice to try this one out. Let's see what it goes for. So a long day of testing. When we do tests like this, we have two different routes we go on. What's good is that you directly feel the difference of the tire. But of course, if you spend more time on the tire, you will learn the behavior of the tire. So, but it was really nice to test the tires like this close to each other. Just make the change and directly go out. So now we're gonna go back to the workshop and do an overview and tell you which is my favorite tire, in which conditions and so on. Okay. Now we're back in the workshop where we're gonna do the overview, the review of all the tires I tested. I actually told you that I'm gonna test 10 tires, but I only tested 9 tires because one of the Shinko tire was a sand tire, so like really no meaning for the terrain I was riding and so on, so I skipped that one. But we have 9 tires we have tested. It took me a while before doing this review because I wanted to try some tires, even more time, put them on and different terrains and so on. I haven't tested all of them for the same amount of time, but I will keep on testing. Some tires I want to test more. So yeah, we're going to focus on the test we were doing in these 2 tracks, the 2 different terrains. So that's the test results we're going to discuss about. First, I want to talk a little bit about dimensions on the tires. There is a little bit difference, or how can I say, like I prefer the biggest one because then you get more mousse, you get more damping. These small bumps, roots, rocks takes up a lot of the damping in the bigger one. But when you have a big tire like this, you always need to have a stiff mousse, because if it gets used too much, then it will be too small to use in a big tire like this. So, I mean, a more economic way is to use a smaller dimension. Then it's not as important with the size of the mousse. I mean, 90/90, 80/100, kind of the same dimension. I also tested some tires that was 90/90, which I put the larger mousse in, and it was working really good. There was no problems like getting it in. So I can imagine there is like the inner tube of the tire can be different depending on what brands we have. But so I prefer to go with a bigger one, always have a new fresh mousse in it, if possible. Some tires that we tested, you only have in one dimension. So that's also something we're gonna talk about. Also, I wanna talk a little bit about the terrains, the different terrains. I mean, now, where we did the test, it was basically rocks and roots, one of the tracks, and the other one was
It was mud, but also it can be hard packed and a little bit sand in that part. But now it had been raining quite much, so it was really slippery on top of, like, it's hard packed, but then it was mud on top of that, so it was really slippery. But of course, I mean, some tires, they fit really good to use more like on a grass test or a sand test, or if it's more hard packed. But this was the two that we tested now, like rocks and roots, and I would say mud, slippery mud. That's also something to take in mind, that depending on what kind of terrain you're going for, maybe the result of this test is not the clear answer. So I just want to mention that. So let's start with the tires. We start with, there's like no different order or anything. I just start from the bottom of my list and go up. 24 MX, the Razorback MS 21. It's sold as a motocross tire, so it's not for enduro, I would say. It's only in one size. This tire, when I used to live in Marbella, I was doing a lot of riding there. I tried this tire quite much. And I would say, like in the plus, the durability is really, really good on that tire because it's very, very soft. The rubber in the tire is very, very soft, making the durability to stay longer, at least in Spain, where it's like really hard packed. We had a good durability. Also, the price is a plus here. It's only 45 euros approximately. I would say, like, it's not that good enduro tire, at least where we were racing and testing now. Because it was very soft, and the dimension, it's really, really small tube, I would say. So you feel every hit on the roots, and it feels quite unsecure going on these terrains that we did. But for the price, I could definitely recommend to have it as a training tire. Moving on, we have the Shinko 546. First time I tried it. I don't know if you see it on the picture here, but profile of the tire is really, really big. So here, very important to have a good big mousse in the tire. It was really comfortable, like hitting these rocks and so on. This tire I haven't tested so long, so I gave it to a friend actually. I wanted his opinion, so he's trying it out now. So I will ask him after a while what he thinks about the tire. But as you can see, the knobs are turned. I mentioned that earlier. That can be better in like a fast grass track, so it bites better. The material, you feel it's really good quality material. The traction, I mean, the traction was good on both the muddy part and the more like rockier part. But I would say, like the minus here, big profile. When making a turn, you really feel this high, big profile. Stones and roots, the same, like it's quite big profile. So once it starts to bump, you can feel it quite much. The variations, the tire is good for like these small bumps and so on, but still, because of the knobs, I would say, yeah, on a dry track where you have quite fast dry track, but you also have some stones and roots, then it's good. But on the same place, if it starts raining, it can get a little bit slippery with this tire. But overall, impressed of the Shinko tire. We have the Mitas C21. I mentioned C19. I think it has changed name now to C21. A lot of plus, really good tire. The traction, the variation, this one I felt like, even though the knob, probably it's because of the materials, it felt really good going from the slippery to the rockier part. The inner size of the tire is quite big. The materials feels really good. Size of the profile, it's quite good, high. It's also FIM approved. So if you're gonna do like a World Championship or the Swedish Championship, you have to have a FIM approved tire, and it's FIM approved. Overall, quite good feeling in that tire actually, even though it's only in one size. Stone roots, it's not the best tire for that, I would say. It was really good on the fast muddy track, but on the stone roots, yeah, I have a better option for that. But definitely a tire I could do like a race competition, maybe a little bit hard packed, a fast track. Really, really good tire, 85 euros. Dunlop MX 33. This tire I've tested a lot. I test riding it 10 plus hours. Where it shines best is harder terrains, like hard packed, fast grass tests. But it also works really, really good in the conditions that we tested now. Really good tire. Size of profile also good. The durability, really, really good. As I said, I probably tested like 15-20 hours, something like that, on the same tire, and you still have good traction in it. Same as here, only one size, but that size, I would say it's not a small 90-90, but it's only one size. I would prefer to have the option to choose a bigger tire. So that's the minus I can give it, but really, really good tire. Metzler 6 Days, a very popular film tire. Also, I tested this quite much. Traction, variation, duration, film approved. Yeah, everything. I mean, it's a good tire. Works on most terrains. Like I said, film approved, so it's a really good tire to have on the Swedish Championship or where they require you to have a film tire. Sometimes a bit slippery. Also, what I'm comparing to is my favorite tire in this test. So, I mean, that's the minus I can give for this tire. We have the Bridgestone E50. This is a tire I know a lot of people, there is a lot of discussion, at least in Sweden, going on. Bridgestone used to have my favorite tire, the Gritty 663. Best tire I ever ridden. Disputed tire. When Bridgestone came out with this, I was really excited, like I'm gonna try the E50. I went out and it was not close to the same feeling as I used to have with the Gritty 663. Really different kind of tire. Tested it a lot. I was in Gotland where we have slippery limestone. I've been doing fast races, motocross tracks with this one compared to what Gritty used to be, and this is like the tire of the Gritty. I'm a little bit disappointed for Bridgestone, but in this test, I mean it's not a bad tire. It's film approved. You have good durability, but especially the tracks we did on this test, rocks routes, I feel I can't trust the tire. It's slippery. It's like you can hit a root and it's behaving very unsecure. So yeah, I'm really not so happy about the result about this one comparing to 663 Gritty. Only one size. Maybe the result will be better if they have a bigger size and you can put a bigger mousse in it, so you have more damping. Michelin Tracker, new tire from Michelin, training tire I would say. I've tested this 10 plus hours, also a lot of different terrains I've tested this tire in. I was really surprised in the beginning from this tire. I mean, you can see the price, it's like not half the price of the other tires, but it's really cheap. When I saw the tire, I don't know if you can see it in this one, but the knobs they're a little bit rounded from the beginning, like, I don't know the reason for that, but that was like what the first thing I reacted to when I saw the tire. But testing it, I got really surprised about like the traction and the feeling of it and so on and so on. So I spent quite many hours testing it. But then changing to a bigger tire, 90-100 for me, different tire, then you felt that there was a difference. But a good training tire, I would say. The durability is good, the price is good. Only one size, a bit slippery where we tested it, going on the routes. And I mean, this is so important that you have the feeling that you can trust the tire, you can trust the suspension, because then you can go straight into the roots, straight into the rocks, and you don't know really what's gonna happen. So that's the most thing I'm looking for, the trust in the front tire, so I can hit the stuff really hard and like don't get any surprises. But overall, I would say this is a good training tire. If you are a little bit lower budget, really good option. Okay, we have the Michelin Starcross Medium, Joachim's favorite tire. I know he really likes this tire. It's not film approved. It has a big inner tube. I've tested this tire a lot. You need a solid mousse in this one because it's so big, at least in a 90-100 size. It's really important because if you don't get that, you get the feeling of a really like dead front tire that you don't want. But I mean, the pluses, variation, durability, material structure, it's a really, really good tire. Need a fresh mousse, slippery on hard terrain. That's my point of view compared to my favorites. Yeah. But really, really good tire, good price, 75 euros approximately. Michelin Enduro Medium, very, very popular. That one I've tested a lot. Also quite big in the tube, so you need a fresh mousse. But yeah, you can see everything as it has the pluses, and it's also film approved. You have it in different sizes, so you don't always need a fresh mousse if you go for a smaller size. But yeah, really good tire, and that's the one I came with on my bike, and that's the one I put back on my bike after this testing. So what about the results? Yeah, we start from the bottom. On 4th place, we have the 24 MX Razorback. I also want to say again, for this test that we did on these terrains that we rode this time, like I said, Probably now when I go back to Spain, Marbella, I will use the 24 MX front tire again, because there is a totally different terrain and there I want the durability and so on. But for this test, I would say it was on the last position. Third place, we have the Mitas, we have the Bridgestone, we have the Shinko, and we have the Michelin tracker. My opinion is that these are really good training tires. Maybe I need to put more time in testing these tires more to get the feeling of them. But compared to all the 9 tires we compared here, I put them on the third place. Second place, we have the Michelin Starcross Medium, Metzler 6 days, Dunlop MX 33. All of them, I would say, same kind of feeling. First place, my favorite Michelin Enduro Medium. It's an overall tire, because that's also important. Maybe the Dunlop MX 33 is better on a faster grass track because of the knobs, but what happens if it starts raining? What happens is when the track gets really like beaten up, the roots start to show up, then I want a tire, an enduro tire, that's good over all of the ranges. And that's my favorite tire. I have the best feeling in the Michelin Enduro Medium. Hitting rocks, hitting roots, also like when it's really muddy, it cleanses very good, so the mud goes away. The traction is good, the durability of the tire. I mean, I probably ride, I would say 10, 15 hours on one front tire of the Michelin Enduro Medium without like getting the feeling of that it starts to get bad. Of course, if it's a race, I often put a new one, but yeah, so here we have the results. I'm very curious what you think about it. It took a lot of time to do this test because I want to give like an honest opinion. Like I said, I've tested many of the tires for 10 plus hours to really get the feeling of it. Different terrains, it's hard to like plan, now it's raining and go out testing, but it's been really fun and I learned a lot. I got a really good like feeling of at the same track changing the tire, even though maybe not the next tire you try is not the best suitable for this terrain, but you still feel the difference when you do test like we did on the same track. So for me, it was quite an eye-opener for the different kind of tires, the difference of dimension, what happens with the tire, the importance of having a stiff and good front tire mousse. All of these is things I learned during this test. I hope you liked it, guys. I give my honest opinion about the tires I've tested. I maybe do a new video when I spend more time on the tires or new brands coming up. Let me know if you have some front tires you want me to test. I would love to do it. We're also probably gonna do a back tire test because that's very important. We're gonna do more videos like this. So I hope you liked it. See you soon again. Take care. 350 Bridgestone Front Tyre Test.